Thanks, Claire. Yeah, hi, everyone. Thanks for having me come and chat to you today about this. So I work for another part of the National Institute for Health and Care Research, which is the Clinical Research Network. I've got some slides that I'll just share. Can someone just shout to say they can see those?
I can see them. You're not in slideshow mode yet.
No, that's right. I'm just, I've got funny things popping down from my screen. So I'm just going to try and get myself into slideshow mode. There we go. Excellent. So so my name's Becky Dilley and I'm one of the research delivery managers. And so I'm responsible for the delivery of studies that are adopted by the National Institute for Health and Care Research and that are also on the portfolio, which is our database of studies that are running across Kent, Surrey and Sussex. And each research delivery manager covers a set of clinical specialties or to, in my case, sort of settings. So I tend to cover the out of hospital settings. But I have colleagues that cover between us all of the clinical specialties. So there's support for you no matter what your area is. We will find someone who can help you. So I'm coming to talk today about how we can help contribute to successfully funded studies. So a lot of that comes from support around feasibility, finding sites, asking other experts or people who see those potential participants face to face, and actually asking them about the doability of a study. We can also support with some of the way that funding's calculated. So I'm just going to run through very quickly an overview of the sorts of things that we can do. So I'm sure I don't need to tell you about the National Institute for Health and Care Research. I'm very excited that they've just changed their name, or we've just changed our name to put care in there, because it's so much more than just health research now. And I work in out of hospital settings, so it's really exciting for me to see that broadening from the top. That broadening of support that we're able to give. So we have within the Clinical Research Network, which is one of the parts of the NIHR, we have a national coordinating centre, and then there are 15 local clinical research networks that cover a particular geographical region. We cover Kent, Surrey and Sussex, and if studies are going to run outside of that Kent, Surrey, Sussex area, we work with colleagues within the other 14 networks, depending on where the study needs to run, in order to have them support sites within their region to run the study. There is also support in the devolved nations, and we can link in with that if needed. So there are some staff that are funded to support grant applications, not in the same way as the RDS, Research Design Service, might, sort of helping and working together, and we work with the JCRO as well. We also have research delivery staff who are actually based within hospital trusts or universities, local authorities. We have our own core team of delivery staff that can go out. So it's much broader support that we can give, but I'm going to focus in on that pre-funding support today. So, like I said, we cover all phases of the study cycle. So we have an early contact team, we have a settings and setup team, and we have a delivery team. And these are part of what we call our study support service, which is, as it said on the tin, the way we support studies. Early contact is this phase that is before grant funding. So that's what I'm going to focus on today, but we do have support for getting studies up and running once they are funded, both from a site point of view, so liaising with sites and giving them what they need and helping them to open the study, and actual delivery staff to go and physically do the recruitment for the study. So our early contact and engagement work stream has a work stream lead who oversees everything that's going on in that work stream. There's also a senior project coordinator and then a team of project coordinators. And our senior project coordinator and the project coordinators are the ones that would probably be liaising with you the most. They are experienced in supporting grant applications, in getting some of the paperwork ready, and in helping, like I said, look at the feasibility and the doability of a study. They would work with a research delivery manager for that particular specialty or setting to support the grant application. So it's likely that you will link in with one or maybe two of our project coordinators and a research delivery manager in that study design and development phase. Like I said, each RDM leads on a number of clinical specialties, but we would also work together to support studies that cross specialties or settings. So I cover primary care.
Sorry to interrupt, Becky.
Yeah,
I just realised your slides aren't moving for me. I don't know if it's just me, or can other people see Becky's slides moving?
No, Becky, I don't think you're on slideshow.
I did hit slideshow.
Oh, it's not showing as showing a slideshow.
Let me try again. Can you see a slide that says support for grant applications now?
I can now, but I couldn't before.
Right,
Sorry.
I'm going to try moving along. Can you see it change?
No.
Right,
No.
okay. What about if I'm not in slideshow mode? Can you see them change?
Yes, that works.
Okay.
Are you all right to do it like that? I'm sorry.
Yes. No, it's probably totally my fault. I think Zoom's updated since I've been on leave and it looks all different. So I apologise for technical glitches.
That's quite all right. I'm sorry for interrupting.
No, please do. I'm so glad everyone can see now. I'll send them round so everyone can look at them because of course they're wonderful.
Yeah, perfect. Thank you.
So just carrying on. So RDMs have a clinical specialties that they cover themselves and they're responsible for, but we would work together where studies cross different specialties or settings. So for example, I work in primary care. My colleague Carla covers ageing. A lot of the studies that are on the ageing portfolio actually take place or need to find people from primary care. So Carla and I would work together to support those studies in the design and planning phase to make sure that we had the expertise of somebody who worked in research specifically with ageing, and then the expertise of people who work within the primary care research community. And that way we're able to try and contribute the best we can with the most, with all the experience that we have. So within the early contact part of our service, we really would look at the deliverability of a study. So we're not really looking so much at the study design, that would be our research design service colleagues, and it wouldn't so much be the actual sort of total funding amounts or stats or anything. We really look at how the study will be delivered. How are you going to find the people that you need in order to be able to collect the data to answer your research question? And sometimes it feels really too early to be doing that. You just want your grant application and you need the money, and you know that there's perhaps not the best, always a high chance that you'll get it, but you're putting all this work in, and actually at that phase, although it feels really early, that is a really great time to consider this and to link in with us, because the more planning you do at that stage, first of all, it actually makes a better case for your research grant application, because you're not just saying, well, this is our idea and this is how we want to fund it, but this is how we are going to do it. This is how we're going to make sure that the money you give us is going to go to actually answering the research question. The other thing that it does is give you a study that is more deliverable at the end, or more likely to be able to be recruited to, and answer the questions that you've got. A lot of times that is the issue. People get funding, brilliant, absolutely exciting, go to start the study, and because there hasn't necessarily been enough emphasis on this planning stage of how it's going to be delivered, we can hit glitches and it can get tricky along the way. So it's really worth putting the time in now to think about feasibility. So how feasible is this study? Where are the patients or the potential participants placed? How are we going to find them? Who's going to be involved in that? How much is that going to cost? Where will participants go? Is that something that they're going to be able or willing to do? Are there going to be travel costs involved? And we'd also at that stage offer to try and find some preliminary sites that might be interested in taking part. It's always useful to have those in the back of your mind if you haven't already. And also we would use the data from the feasibility and thinking about the recruitment pathway to think about how many sites do you need to collect your, to enable you to reach your sample size so that we can make sure it's properly funded, because it's terrible, like I said, to receive the money and then either you haven't got enough money to recruit or you haven't got the right protocol, the right plans in place for that. And we have lots of experience of different types of studies over the years, and we also have specialty leads who are clinicians or leaders in their particular specialty field, who we can go to for advice. And we also have our stakeholder or site contacts that we can talk to about it. So for example, in primary care, we can ask them to run a feasibility search for a group of patients so that you can see how many are likely to be eligible at any given practice. So the other thing that we support with, which is something that usually brings groans from everybody, but I am not that, I'm quite into, is the completion of the SOCAT, the schedule of events costing attribution tool, which I know strikes fear into the heart of many people, but don't let it come to us. We can help. We can help with identifying all the activities that are going to take place in your study, and we can attribute them to the correct cost category, so that you're applying for the right amount of money from the right places, and not asking your funder to pay for things that they shouldn't be paying for, whilst making sure that you're asking for enough from them in order to run those parts of the study that they're responsible for paying for. So we can help list and attribute those activities. We can advise on completion of the SOCAT. Generally, we don't actually complete it for you, but we can tell you what to do. It's just, it turns out it's not a CRN responsibility to complete it, but certainly we would advise on it. And then whether or not we've supported that stage of it, your SOCAT always needs to come to the network to be validated by an accord specialist before you can submit your grant application. If your grant funder doesn't require a SOCAT, if you're applying for Health Research Authority approvals, then you will need a SOCAT then, unless there's a few circumstances where you don't. But the best thing to do is to just link in with us, drop us a line, and we can advise you either way and help you with completion of it. So don't see the SOCAT and panic. Don't think you're on your own. We're here to help, and we're gaining lots of experience in creatively using the form to make sure it fits for any given study. So don't struggle alone on that one. So just a little word about timing. So we do ask, as I'm sure you'll hear from everyone today and everyone all the time, come to us as early as possible, but it really does help. We do work with RDS, with JCRO and CTU colleagues to streamline our support. So we would have joint meetings where that's appropriate, and we would make sure that the right group of people was working on the right part of the process. So even at stage one, it's worth accessing our support for the reasons that I've said about making sure that you're applying for money appropriately, that it's the right amount of money, that it's the right process that you're wanting to follow for your piece of research. And actually, I think engaging with as many people as possible to support stage one can make sure that your study has the best chance of making it to stage two. And finally, for SOCAT validation, ideally we ask for a minimum of 10 working days for a validation. We know that's not always possible, and we will do our best to support you if you come to us with less time than that. But really, in order for us to sort of really be able to focus on it and give it our best attention, we do ask for as much time as possible. And if 10 days is possible, that's amazing. So I've just finished off with our contact details. So the top email address is our generic inbox. Ideally, send queries to that. We have a triage team that share them out in the right directions and assign them to the most appropriate person. If you'd like to contact me directly, you're very welcome to, and that's my email address at the bottom. So that was what I was that was kind of what I had on the, on my slides today. So I'll stop sharing. This is annoying share. And if anyone's got any questions, happy to answer them.
Thank you so much, Becky. I'm just having a look in the chat. I can't see any questions at the moment. Apologies again to everyone for the slideshow missteps, and we will be sharing Becky's slides, so you will get all that information. So don't worry about that. And if anyone has a question, do feel free to jump in. If not, thank you so much, Becky. We really appreciate you sharing all of that information with us. And we'll go to a 5-minute break. It's 15:15, so if we come back at 11:20, and Nikki from the CT will be talking to us next. Thank you so much, everyone.
Thanks, everyone. Bye.